Thank you, Pastor Ki. Hello, everybody. My name is Hikari Kokai Chair. Maybe the new people are here, so I would like to take a moment to introduce our team and myself. I'm an elder of United Methodist Church, New York Annual Conference member. Now, a year ago, I got a phone call from my bishop saying that you are going to Japan as a missionary of United Methodist Church. So that's how I was born in Japan and grew up in Japan. So I'm Japanese. But I came to the States many years ago. Actually, 25 years I spent in the States at the East Coast, and became a pastor of a United Methodist Church, and I served churches there. Now, as a missionary, my assignment in Japan is serving at Wesley Foundation. It's a mission center, built in the center of Tokyo, Shibuya, you have heard. And this Wesley Foundation is a historically closely tied, connected with United Methodist Church. Long time ago, United Methodist Church sent many missionaries to Japan. So they supported, and they sent a lot of supporting money, and that money is still there in Japan. So this time, why don't we create something new, Christian center, to serve for women's issue, for the women's empowerment, and youth, young people's leadership training, and social justice issues in Japan and beyond, Asian countries. And so my assignment being there is that I'm going to be a bridge to make a connection between Japanese Christians and Christians in Asian countries and the North American churches. So that's I'm doing. And this time I thought, well, since I came back to Japan and 25 years later, the March 11 happened. So I wanted to do something. So I created this program. This is the first year and the first time. Recruit the children, high school students from Fukushima area, and make a trip to America and do. There are three purposes for this trip. One, first of all, those kids are living in under the constant fear, always a radiation and radioactive contamination, and also earthquake and then aftershocks, and we don't know what's going to happen really in that area, and also in Japan too. So I wanted to give a chance for them to be away from that fear and just spend, well, our trip is 2 weeks, but 2 weeks of really enjoying life and being teenagers as who they are. Number two, the purpose is when March 11, that disaster happened, right after, as Pastor Ki shared, that Christians and beyond, sisters and brothers, all over the place, around the world, send the support and the gifts and the prayers and notes and everything to Japan and for us. So I wanted to say thank you, and especially the children from Fukushima. They come here and to say thank you to you, the face to face. That's our second purpose. Third, well, after 2 years and a half passed, you might not hear about Fukushima these days anymore, especially in the States. But crisis and challenges are still going on. So I wanted to give a chance, opportunity for them to come here and share their stories. And oftentimes, I know that I was living in the States, we hear about that disaster through the media, the TVs and all internet news, and sometimes experts talk and adults talk. But we hardly hear from children or the teenagers what they experienced, what they thought about that experience. So this is a chance I wanted to give them to speak up and just simply share their stories. And from there, we can think how that God can use us for that our world that God created. So, well, through that my ministry in Japan, I met Terumi Kataoka-san, and she will introduce herself later. But anyway, she is an advocate of anti-nuclear power movement and peace movement in Japan, and she is a very active person. So I contacted her and shared my vision of this Fukushima youth camp, and she agreed and helped me. So we recruited 6 high school students. They applied, and from the beginning, I told them that you will do the presentation in English. So you have to prepare for that and work very hard. They agreed, and they really worked very hard and practiced many times. So here they are. And please, thank you for welcoming us, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. And we will.
Hello everyone. Thank you for giving us an opportunity like this. First, we'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Hyuga Ono. I'm 17 years old.
I'm Hinasato. I'm 16 years old.
I'm Namiko Saze. I'm 15 years old.
I'm Minori Hisada. I'm 16 years old.
I'm Seitaro. I'm 16 years old.
I'm Takuma Yamaguchi. I'm 16 years old.
Now, we start our presentation.
We are from Fukushima, Japan. This is our hometown, Aizu Wakamatsu. Fukushima nuclear power plants are located 62 miles away in the east. We have beaches, beautiful lakes, and mountains. We can harvest a lot of rice, fruits, and vegetables. In our city, we have a castle named Tsurumajo. Our city is famous for the samurai parade.
At 2:46 p.m. on the 11th March in 2011, it happened. A huge quake suddenly struck us. It was the beginning of the great disaster.
激しい揺れ、最大で震度7を記録しました。
At that time, almost all of the TV shows only reported the earthquake all day long. The video of the tsunami was broadcasted again and again. I watched on TV that the tsunami caught schools, houses, cars, and people. The names of many victims and the missing were read out by the newscaster. The accident of Fukushima nuclear power plant frightened people. Can you imagine what we felt? It seemed that matters were getting worse and worse. Everyone anticipated the worst. We thought, are we going to die? We were afraid of the radiation in the water. We wanted to get safe water, so bottled water disappeared at supermarket. We wanted to get gasoline too, because we wanted to flee from dangerous zones to a safe place as far as possible. There were long lines in front of gas station.
Do you know an aftershock? Aftershock is a small earthquake of tremor that follow a major earthquake. We are scared of aftershocks. Thousands of aftershocks happen frequently, sometimes in the middle of the night. As everyone always watches for aftershocks, time was getting on.
After this accident, birds disappeared from the forest near the nuclear power plant, so we can't see any birds in this forest. Before the accident, the air dose was 0.053 microsievert per hour, but after the accident, the air dose in this post has become 10 times, as you can see.
A nuclear power plant disaster brought us so many effects. For example, we always wore a mask because we must not put radioactivity into our body. This is a picture of children wearing masks. And many evacuees still live in the temporary housing. My relatives evacuated from Oakland lived there too for the first 6 months. They said it was cold in winter, hot in summer. They had to decide to build a new house, even though they had their own house in their hometown.
After this accident, many people can never return to their houses. They lost their houses and their homes. They returned like a ghost town.
Why is radioactivity scary so much? Because its effect is not limited just to human bodies and animals, but also society. Why is that? We can't see radioactivity, can't smell it, we can't touch it. Of course, It doesn't have taste and sound. We can't feel it by our five senses, so it is stable. And now, the fear we are controlling every day is still continuing. When will we be fear from this fear? Next, we will tell you what we felt about this disaster.
At the time, I lived in Fukushima City, in the area where used to be gas, water supply, and electricity were cut off. We went out to get water every day. Of course, there was no light at night. I felt the such nights were strange.
緊急地震速報です。強い揺れに警戒してください。緊急地震速報です。強い揺れに警戒してください。
This is the earthquake alarm. It went off when an earthquake happens. Even now, every time we hear this alarm, we are scared. It's a horrible noise. And 3 days went by after the earthquake. The Fukushima nuclear power plant exploded. My mother decided to evacuate us to Tokyo, where my grandfather lived. We stayed in his house for 2 weeks, but returned to Fukushima City because my school started. And we decided to evacuate to Aizu City. A disaster strikes when it is least expected and makes our daily life change in a matter of seconds. Because of the disaster, I had to leave our house. Because of the disaster, I had to leave my hometown. Because of the disaster, I had to say goodbye to my friends. It didn't happen only to me. There are a lot of people who lost their families, friends, and their hometowns in Tohoku district. Various difficulties will confront us in the future. But anyhow, we must go on living. Thank you for listening.
We live in Aizu Wakamatsu, Fukushima. Aizu Wakamatsu is far from the epicenter, so there was not much damage. But we must help each other when somebody was in trouble. So I made thousands of rice balls, onigiri, for evacuees. From this earthquake, I learned the importance of connection among people.
After the nuclear explosion, my father started to collect a lot of information about the nuclear plants and radioactive elements. And then he bought some Geiger counters. I asked him what he was doing, and he explained me about how dangerous the nuclear plants were. Sorry. And he also told me things that what the government has announced was not true. They seem to be hiding more information, which the people should have been told. radioactive level. My father and some people go around the town to measure radioactive levels, so people know where the dangerous places are. Importance of this machine is that people take responsibility to know the danger and protect themselves by themselves. Thank you.
We used to have hotel review with a dosimeter and radioactivity, but it is a really strange thing to live with. Look at this picture. This little boy is happy because he entered his elementary school, but I feel sad to see this happy boy and a radioactivity monitoring post together. And we think the Japanese government should tell us about the danger of radioactivity. We also have to know about it without fear for our future. I want you to know our problems are your problems.
When the terrible earthquake happened, I was alone at home. It was the longest and strongest earthquake which I have ever experienced, so I was very, very scared. I quickly put a cushion on my head to protect it from something foreign and turned on the TV. Then my father called me from his office to check that I was safe. Shortly after, we couldn't use phone line and email because the whole country began to contact their family and relatives. In the evening, my brother, who was 8 years old at that time, and my father came home. My brother said, I evacuated to the playground with my classmates and teachers. We were freezing cold because it snowed. My father said, the ceiling of the room next to my office came falling down. Luckily, there was nobody in that room. If somebody has been there, they wouldn't be alive. And my mother, who works as a dietitian for a hospital, came home late at night. The earthquake left the hospital in confusion, which made my mom late coming home. We were hit by aftershocks again and again, even at night. Sometimes the shaking wakes us up from sleep. We were feeling very stressed. We heard terrible news on the TV about accidents of the Fukushima nuclear power plant. We were so scared because we know radiation will affect our health. We quickly closed all the windows of our house and turned off the ventilating fans. My family used bottled water to cook all meals. The government of Japan said, no problem, you can drink tap water, but we couldn't trust that. Some of my friends who believed the government said to me, why are you so worried? And many people evacuated. One of my friends, whose father is Canadian, evacuated to Canada with her family. Another friend of mine, whose mother is Chinese, evacuated to China with her family. My grandmother, grandfather, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins evacuated to our house from Kawamata town. Kawamata town is located on 31 miles from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. We didn't go outside, but sometimes my father and my uncle shopped for groceries. My brother and my cousins and me didn't go to school for a long time. Some people who don't read Fukushima regarded us as contaminations. I was planning to go to South Korea, but with my classmates and my teachers, a school trip. But Korean people refused our visit, so the plan didn't work out. We were very, very sorry. As I have said, we have experienced many hardships from the earthquake and the accident of the Fukushima nuclear plant. It is the saddest thing that we never regain our secure, beautiful hometown. I wish not to work nuclear power plants forever, but now the Japanese government intends to work nuclear power plants again. So, I think it's important to share our experiences with you. So thank you for giving to me to us a chance to speak, and thank you for listening very much.
Look at these pictures. My family are farmers and they grow vegetables. Before the accident, our relatives and friends were happy to receive these vegetables. However, after the accident, they refused to receive them. Right after the nuclear plant explosion, Japan government started to tell us the products are safe and we don't have to worry about the leisure activities effect. Many people believe what the government said, but soon we found some vegetables, water and rice are contaminated. So people started to distrust government and were confused what is safe and what is not safe. If the government had told us the truth from the beginning, my relatives and friends had received our vegetables without worries, because our vegetables were checked not to be contaminated. I think what the government should do is to tell us every single truth. Then we will be able to make sure the products from Fukushima are safe, and we are happy to invite you to our hometown. Thank you for listening our presentation.
Thank you very much for having us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tezumi Kataoka. My husband is a pastor in Aizuwagama City. So I have to say thank you so much for praying for us, supporting us, and having us here today. As Pastor Ken and his wife have 4 boys, how blessed we are. I also have 4 boys. Well, right after the explosion, my friend who are very much involved with peace movement, we call it Kyujo no Kai. Kyujo, it means Article 9 in Japanese Constitution, which means no more war, no more arms. Okay, I was very much involved with that movement before that. Then, right after the explosion, I myself evacuated. I took my family down to Kansai area for 2 weeks. Well, if I keep telling about that, what had happened to me, it will take about 2 days or 3 days more. So I brought my book here. So sorry that all in Japanese, but I will leave it to Nichigo people so that they can share and maybe they can tell you in English after on. Anyway, after the explosion, I was evacuated and then back to Fukushima City, and we established Ice Radiation Information Center. That has two purposes. One is to measure by ourselves. We are not depending on what the government says. So we have radio counter. We can measure food too, and sometimes soil, of course. Food so far are not contaminated so badly, but soil is contaminated. So it's really hard to let the children outside if the mothers are so much concerned about that. The second one is we share our experiences and our feelings together. Like as these young people said, Japanese government keeps saying it's okay, it's not worries, but we are worried. But at the same time, we cannot speak out because around people around us, they say it's okay. So it's kind of too nervous to speak out our own feelings. So we come together and share our stories together, support each other, and also we have health consultation by a doctor from Wakayama Ken, far away from Aizokamas. Anyway, in that way, we are supporting each other. And when I visit, I have been invited to various places all over in Japan. I think I made about 100 speeches last year. And then they always ask me, what can we do for Fukushima people? Well, there are so many things. Please keep us in your prayer. Please help support us. But one thing, very important thing for me and for you is that please check if your food is okay. Please check if your area is safe, is not contaminated. In that way, everyone has to look around your area and look after your family by ourselves. And maybe it's a bit difficult to understand. In that way, checking yourselves by yourselves, in that way it will connect to Fukushima explosion, Fukushima accident. I hope you understand me. So again, thank you very much for having us. And if you have any questions, please ask us. And then we can really talk to you